Hello everyone, welcome to Zaref Game Dev. In this video, we are going to create the miss events and the revenge events in which the car boosts up and we can destroy other cars. It's going to be another event in which we are going to change the score and it will add multiple uh, options for the score to change so the player does not feel bored. And it was inside the cloned game or the original game, which is the police runner. So we'll start creating it. So to detect the misses, we are going to create another collider, which I think we have not created it. So let's create an empty and we'll call it miss. And inside our scene view, it needs to have a box collider 2D attached to it. Yep, we did not create the miss. We need to set it to trigger. The Y position is set to 0.9 and negative 0.9. And afterwards, the size will set to 3.2 by 3.2. So that's how our miss collider is going to be. And it needs to have a miss script attached, which is just going to call the miss event. So when the trigger exits, and so let's start creating our miss script. So in our miss script, it's just going to trigger the miss event whenever the collider exits. Whenever the collider exits, and the game object which is going to exit is going to have a tag of enemy. So let's go inside Visual Studio, and inside the vis, we are just going to set on trigger exit 2D, and if collision dot compare tag, and we are going to compare the tag for constants dot tags dot enemy, then we are going to trigger the event, and the event we are going to trigger is constants dot event names dot miss. There's only one miss event, and we'll set the parameter to null. So the event is going to be triggered on our player, so the player is going to have a method on which the miss is going to be called. And we don't need any reference to the enemy, so it does not matter. Now let's create a method on the player which is going to calculate the miss. So let's go inside the player, and um, we have on collider enter, and we'll create a private void calculate miss, and it's going to have a dictionary from string to object, and we'll just call it message. It's null right now, but it does not matter. And inside our on enable, we'll do event manager dot start listing constants dot event names dot miss, and we are going to have the calculate miss listen to it, and on disable we'll stop listening. So what calculate miss is going to do? So it's going to calculate the miss count, and depending on the miss count, it's going to have the score manager update the score. So the first thing we need to check if the revenge is revenge mode or underscore is revenge mode, then or is shield on. So if the shield is on, then we are not going to do anything, or we cannot move, then we'll just return, because if the revenge mode is on, then we'll just destroy all the objects and shields. As you can see, it's going to provide a shield, so miss is not going to calculate. And when the can move is set to false, we are just going to end the game. Then what we'll do is we'll switch on the miss count. And if it is case 0 or 1, then let's apply a break. And then we'll do for case 2. And we'll apply a break. Case 2 is like the last miss, and when the third miss hits, we are going to start the revenge mode. And default will just use the break. So whenever the case 1 and case 2 are called, uh, we are going to check if the boost timer is greater than or equal to the start boost timer. So if it is uh, greater than equal to, then we'll just use the start coroutine, and we'll create a coroutine for that. So let's create an enumerator, and we'll rename this as apply boost, and we'll just pass apply boost here. Else we'll set the boost timer to be the start boost timer. So it's just going to reset the timer. Doesn't matter much. But if the case 2 is happening, then we won't apply the boost. What we are going to do is we'll start the revenge mode. So let's set up the condition for applying the boost. So the first thing we are going to do is we'll show the boost object dot set active is true. Then applied force is boosted force, so its speed is going to increase, and while our boost timer is greater than 0f, uh, will decrease the boost timer by time dot delta time, and will yield return null. So it's going to count the time, and if the boost timer is reset, which we are going to do in the above, then it will just calculate, the timer will just reset, and at the end we'll set the boost timer to start boost timer, boost object dot set active is going to be false, and the applied force is going to be the start force. Oh, start force. And that should be it for the apply boost. Now inside our case 2, we'll need to also increase the miss count, and we'll trigger the event. So event manager dot trigger event, and we are going to trigger the not event constants dot event names, and it is the update score event, but the type is miss update score us, and we'll get a new dictionary for string and object. And the first parameter we are going to pass is the type. So constants dot score method dot type, and its value we are going to set to constants dot score method dot miss. And after we have the miss, we are going to pass the amount. So constant dot score method dot amount is going to be constants not amount miss count. And the last thing we need to pass is where we want to spawn our text. So it's just going to be constant dot score method dot position, and the position will pass the transform dot position, and that should be it for this event. Now inside our case 2, we'll just increase the miss count, and we'll similarly pass the not pass, we'll also trigger the event. But after triggering this event, we'll also start the coroutine for applying the revenge. So let's see, miss count is set to 0, and after that is revenge mode is set to true, and we are going to start the coroutine, which is going to similar to apply boost, but let's create it. So let's create enumerator and we'll call this apply revenge. And inside our apply revenge, let's set it up. So whenever the revenge mode is on, it's going to set to true. So any enemy collisions is going to get passed and it's going to return here. And we have also a parameter for the shield. So what happens when the revenge event is called? So let's set up the revenge event. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to trigger the event, and it's going to be constants dot event names dot update score, and the parameter we are going to pass is new dictionary, and the first parameter is the type. So constants dot event names dot not event names score method dot type, and it's going to be constants dot score method dot revenge. And the second parameter is the amount. So constants dot event names dot amount, not event names, score message dot amount is going to be the miscount, and the final parameter is the position, which will just set as a transform dot position. So constants dot score message, and for the score message the key we want to pass is the position, and the value we are going to use is the transform dot position. So it will just set up the revenge parameter to 0, and after that we'll set the scale to be 1 multiplied by 2f, and we'll show the revenge object. And after showing our revenge object, we need to apply torque. We will multiply it by 10. The speed is going to same, but the torque is going to change, so we are able to have the direction change faster. So while the revenge time is greater than 0f, let's first do yield return null, and before that we'll uh, subtract the revenge timer by the time dot delta time amount. So it's going to decrease the timer, and at the end when it is finished we are going to reset the scale, which is the transform dot local scale is going to be 1, and after that revenge object dot set active is going to be false, is revenge mode is going to be false, and revenge timer is going to be the start revenge timer, and the miscount is going to be reset to 0, and the applied torque which we have changed is going to be changed to start torque. So apply revenge revenge and apply boost, both are done correctly, and there should not be any problems. So let's go inside our score manager and we'll start editing how the score is going to change depending on the case. So as we have seen, we have created a case for the normal collision. Similarly, we'll create a case for constants dot score message dot miss, and here inside our miss event, pqs, let me go inside. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay. So let's first get the increase is going to be casted to an integer, and what we are going to cast is message constants dot score message dot amount. So it's going to get the increase, and let's have the break first. So depending on the increase, we'll set the temp score is going to be casted to an integer of score. Now the temp score is already defined, so it does not matter. So we'll need to create the methods for the update boost and the update health, which is going to have, yep, update score, update coin, update health. So we'll do it afterwards, but first now let's set up. So let's set increase is equals to, no, the if increase is equals to 1, then we'll set to 40. As increase is equals to 2, then we'll set to 80. Okay, not 40, 80. 120. Increase is equals to 2, then we'll set it to 120. As the final amount, we are going to set to 160, and after that we'll increase the score by the increase amount, and we'll update the score text, which is here, and we don't need to do the temp score and delete the plus 40. And after we have updated the score, uh, we need to spawn, and it's going to be vector 3. So let's also just copy it from there. So we have our spawn and the temp score text, and here the temp score text is going to be mess x and plus, and we are going to get the increase. So let's set to increase dot to string, and we'll position it before the text is updated. And after that we'll also temp dot score text. Depending on the increase, we also need to show the plus count. Too much. So where were we? Spawn pose. Message amount plus plus plus. Okay, okay. Temp score text. Mm, mm, So this spawn pose is going to be up, and it don't matter much, but we'll copy this again. And this was for the miss. Now instead of having the up, we are just going to have a plus and this text. So it's going to show the miss event, and we also need to set up the revenge event. So the revenge event is going to be similar to this event, and we'll just do case constants dot score message dot revenge, and let's paste it here. And we don't need to reassign the increase, and we also need to reassign the break. And the text is going to be a little bit similar, so we have not increased the text. So the first spawn pose is going to show only if increase is equals to 0. And let's copy this, and here the text is going to be revenge, and it's just going to be revenge. And uh, if increase is equals to 0, then it is 200, else it's going to be increase multiplied by 40. So depending on the increase count, it's going to increase, and it's going to set up the increased points. So if increase is 0, then only it will show, else it will whenever it is destroyed, it's going to show this. And we also need to have the game manager when it collides with the player, when it collides with the enemy, where the revenge mode is turned to on. If current health is greater than 0, then I don't know what we are doing, but we'll see it up later. So let's go inside our player, and we'll start editing the scripts. So when the revenge mode is on, it will just increase the miss count, and it's going to trigger the event. And instead of miss count, we'll use miss count plus plus, and we'll copy this event because it's 190% similar. And we'll spawn an explosion, and I think we already spawned an explosion in our enemy, so we'll just copy this code here and paste it inside our player. And we have the explosion prefab, so it won't matter much. And we are going to destroy the collision.game object because we have already collided with it, and it should be more than enough. Now if the health is decreasing, we need to show it inside our spawn manager depending on the amount. So let's create those two methods. So the first method we are going to create is inside our score manager, which is the update boost method. So let's set private void update boost, and inside our update boost we are going to pass increase the amount. And let's go to our score manager, game start counting, game over, update score, revenge is also done. And let's set the update boost. So for int I is equals to 0, I less than boost holders dot count, boost holders of I dot color to be black. Else let's copy it again, and instead of boost holders dot count, we'll use the amount, and we'll set the color to be green. So it's going to update the boost amount, and when this starts, we'll set the update boost to 0. So as we did with the revenge slider, on enable decibel, we'll set the update boost, and it's going to start from 0. And similarly, we'll create one more function which is going to show the health, and this one is going to get the parameters from the event. So it's going to have the dictionary from message, and we'll get the amount from the message. So int amount is going to be casted to an integer, and from the message we are going to get the constants dot score message dot amount. So it should show up the amount. And similarly, for int I is equals to 0, I less than health holders dot count, health holders of I dot set active to false. What health holders we have? It should be an image. Ah, that was a problem. We'll need to reset up it again, but it won't matter. So we'll just use health holders of I dot set active to false, and for the amount, we'll set them up to true. And let's delete this. And here for the amount, when the we'll need to reset a bit, but I think we have done most of with our revenge, and it's set up in our player. So destroy, and revenge mode is on. And current health, we are also updating the current health. We'll also create it in our start when the health is set up. So it will update the current health, and let's see where we are right now, and we'll fix up all the bugs that will show up. So the miss, it's does not have the miss script attached, and let's save it up. And the power up timer, there will be problems, but let's set up clear our first problem. So the health holders have not the game object correctly set up, so it should be inside the game active and inside our health holder. So health 1, health 2, and health 3. And let's hit play, and let's see what errors we are currently getting. So there are no errors. Let's reset, and let's see if we are getting our first miss. So it's going to be difficult to get a miss. Okay, so there we have our first miss, and we got a boost, and we also got our revenge. So let's restart, and let's see what changes we need to make. So the boat destroyed itself, so the explosion is working fine. Miss, the miss cross 2, and also I think we should be able to have our miss cross 3. So the miss cross 3 is a little bit overwhelming, so we don't need it. Or maybe we should just change the position a little bit. So the revenge and the miss were showing up consecutively. So maybe let's remove one of them. So when the revenge mode is on, we don't need to show the miss. So it was depending on the miscount, and the miscount we are getting it from the score manager. And inside our score manager, increase miss 1, 2, and 3. We need to increase the count. So let's set this 160 to 200. And the revenge mode position, yeah, let's just set up the revenge mode position. So it should be inside the revenge and multiply by 3f, and the score is always going to be there, so it won't matter much. So let's hit play and let's see if there are more such problems. And I think I forgot to add the slider when the revenge mode is on. So for now it is black. We are not calling. Okay, the variable explosion prefab has not been assigned. Inside our player, the explosion prefab has not been assigned, so let's assign that. So it should be assigned inside our player prefab, so it won't show any problems. So let's go inside our player prefab and we'll assign the explosion prefab. And also we will need to have the update boost called on every frame and update health also. So game manager will need to listen to the update health also. We forward that. So let's just set up event manager dot start listening constants dot event names dot update health, and the update health is going to listen to the update health event. We'll copy this again, and inside our start listening we are going to use the stop listening. And there was a problem with our miscount, so at the end of it we are going to use the update boost, and inside the update boost we are going to pass the increase and we'll move it up. So depending on the increase amount we are going to update the boost. And when the revenge mode is started, we are going to start coroutine, and it's going to be another slider. So let's use private, not private, enumerator, start revenge slider, and it's not going to have any parameters. So let's just use it here, start revenge slider, and let's set up a revenge slider. So, hmm, 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 hmm. So let's first use float revng revenge time is going to be 4f for now. Ghost holder dot set active to true and not true. We are going to not have it show, and revenge or revenge slider dot game object dot set active to true. And I think maybe a revenge slider is inside the boost, so nah, it is different, so it won't matter. And mm, it is perfectly shown. And after, what we are going to do is, while revenge time is greater than 0f, revenge time minus is equals to time dot delta time yield return null. And instead of revenge time, We'll need a parameters to store it, but we'll use it afterwards. So let's set up the revenge slider dot value is going to be revenge time divided by 4f. So it's going to set up the value, and at the end we'll just do revenge slider dot game object dot set active to false and boost holder dot set active to true. And at the start we already set it up to false, so it does not matter. And we'll set the update boost to 0 because at the end it was set to 3. And now our slider should work, and that should not be any more problems. So let's go inside Unity and let's see if our slider is working. Unassigned explosion prefab has not been assigned. So let's go inside our player, and we did assign the explosion prefab. So let's hit play and let's see if there are any errors. So the first thing we need to see if our health is working. So it is working correctly. And whenever we miss, one of the arrows should turn blue. So this one also got destroyed. Now let's go miss. Two arrows turned green, and the trail is a little bit ugly, but it won't matter. We'll fix it up. And there's our timer. Our score is also increasing. And when the timer ended, it got destroyed. Now let's just see if there are any more problems. So there is miss one. We'll need to multiply it by factor of 2. And when the revenge is working, it's also showing miss cross 1. So I think maybe our let's see, still not. So we are able to collect the coins. The slider is increasing, miss cross 2. And we need one more miss to check if there are any problems in our revenge mode. Didn't work. So let's set it up again. And this time it's difficult. So uh, miss cross 1, and then we have miss cross 2, miss cross 3. Don't. Okay, the miss is still working. So there should be problem with our calculate miss inside our player. So let's go inside the Visual Studio, and I think we set the miss instead of miss. We need to set the revenge. So that was just the problem. We just copied it, so it just showed a little bit of error. And this condition is also correctly set up, and that should be it for our boosts. And let's finally see if any of code is having problems, and the text will decrease its length by a little bit. So for the score manager, uh, for the up, let's multiply by 2f, and they are already multiplying it for the revenge, so it doesn't look too much uh, what closer. And let's hit play, and we'll finally set up all our misses and our boosts. So for now I'm controlling with the A and the D key, which are for the horizontal, and the axis for the horizontal, the left and the right. You can And for the player movement, as you can see, we have already created the player movement script, which is going to get the axis depending on where the player is. And now we should be able to have our second miss. Yeah, no, third miss was remaining, and our just car got destroyed. And boost gives you a little boost, and that should be our second miss, and we got destroyed. So let's final debugging. So as you can see, the game is pretty much looking as we are want to create it. The only thing that needs is the color of the trails, and it's not showing up perfectly. It won't matter much, but we have all the basic functionality set up. So that was a miss cross one, and let's have miss cross two, and we need the final miss, and we have revenge and the miss cross three, and the revenge timer was too slow. So let's play it again, and we are going to see if there's a problem with the revenge. So we are boosted. We should be having our second boost. So there are power-ups, but they are not doing anything right now. So we'll also set it up later. And there is not much music and sound. We'll set music at the end because it's just going to be setting up one script and just calling it whenever we want it, creating an instance. So we have already missed two times. We have revenge cross three. We can destroy this car, but we are not able to collide with any of them. So that was a little bit of problem. So we just passed through three cars. So it gave us 40 points. And there was a miss cross one. And we have miss cross two. And uh, after one revenge, I'll just end this video because it is already pretty long and we already created the boost and the revenge functionality, and we are able to destroy the cars are getting spawned, we are getting the coins, and the coins are also getting stored, we are able to restart the game. So there's for the achievements, and at the start it was for the leaderboards, and we have our shop remaining and the store remaining and also the power ups. So again, this one is going to be a pretty long series because everything I am just recording and there is no edits in between. So that was it for this video. In the next video we are going to create the power ups, and we'll also have the player. Mm, maybe we'll also set up the upgrade shop in the next video. So if you guys watched till now, thank you guys for watching. If you had any problems in the video, do comment it below. I'll try to resolve it, and the GitHub link will be posted at the end, and it's going to be for the offline version. The online, some of the things I cannot post it, so I'll just create a video out of it. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.